Integrity, TLT and orb guide converged. We're taking a look, but initial results are looking good.
Okay, we're just comparing values right now.
Integrity, Houston has completed the poll for TLI. When the engine ignites, you embark on humanity's lunar homecoming arc and set the course to return Integrity and her crew safely home. Houston is go for TLI.
Integrity copies, and your Integrity crew is go for TLI. With this burn to the moon, we do not leave Earth, we choose it.
Integrity copy, thanks for those beautiful words.
Those thoughtful communications coming from Mission Control Houston and Capcom Chris Birch, NASA astronaut, reporting up to the crew aboard Orion that they are go for translunar injection. Equally thoughtful words coming back down from mission specialist NASA astronaut Christina Cook, ready for translunar injection to fly by the moon and also return home to our planet. We're now 27 minutes until the time of ignition for the translunar injection burn. Orion now only 3,700 miles away from Earth. Again, that'll...
Integrity, we've finished verification of our onboard targets. They look good.
Okay, Chris, our comparison looks good as well.
We copy.
One day, 48 minutes since the liftoff of the Artemis II mission, our 4 astronauts aboard, Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, and mission specialists Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen, all flying aboard Orion, the first flight of humans on this spacecraft. We are 25 minutes away from the time of ignition of the translunar injection burn. This is a 5-minute, 49-second burn on the orbital maneuvering service engine on the European service module. The view on the left side of your screen, looking down towards that portion of the spacecraft, you can see the solar arrays, which gather power from the sun and store that in Orion's batteries. The spacecraft now 3,400 miles away from Earth. That'll continue to decrease until the time of ignition for translunar injection, when the spacecraft will be just 115 miles above our planet's surface. All systems looking good here in Mission Control Houston. Teams have given the final go for Orion. The first of those came this morning from the mission management team here at Johnson Space Center, and the most recent coming from the flight controllers in Artemis Mission Control. You're looking at a live view inside Artemis Mission Control here at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. Flight control team, specifically the Orbit 1 flight control team on console, being led by Flight Director Jeff Radigan. You've also been hearing the voice of Capcom Chris Birch, a NASA astronaut communicating with the crew aboard Orion. We've also been joined by NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman, sitting in the back of the room, here to monitor the translunar injection burn that will send our crew beyond the moon, the first time humans have done so in over 50 years. Orion is now under 2,800 miles away from Earth. And again, we are 21 minutes away from the time of ignition for the translunar injection burn. Since launch yesterday, that was 1 day and 53 minutes ago, we have been in a high Earth orbit, an elliptical orbit around our home planet. This translunar injection burn is the commitment to flying by the moon and splashing down in the Pacific Ocean on flight day 10.
Integrity, tank pressures are good for the burn.
Integrity copies.
Under 20 minutes now from the time of ignition for the translunar injection burn. Teams on the ground reporting good configuration of the Orion spacecraft.
All right, and Houston, we're showing DBDT, it's fluctuating, but 0.0129, and as it's still going positive up to 0.005.
Copy, Jeremy.
And we're watching the Equus cabin leak.
Copy, Jeremy. Jeremy, we see DPDT stable. We want you to continue to monitor. Continue to monitor via procedure number 2.1.0.
I did notice a change in the fan speeds just prior to that.
Copy, Jeremy, and that tracks with our actions here on the ground. We were just changing the ARS state.
Okay, we will continue to monitor this as well with you in parallel, and we'll keep progressing with the burn.
That's a good read back, Jeremy. We're following along with you.
Calls from Mission Control Houston and Orion as they received a cabin leak warning. However, teams on the ground were transitioning the air revitalization at that time. The crew will continue to monitor the status inside the cabin. However, we are still go for translunar injection burn at this time. The solar array wings are in motion ahead of this burn. We position the solar array wings so that there are no loads imparted on them during the burn, keeping them safe from damage.
Integrity, we see a stable cabin pressure. We believe that this is associated with commanding we were doing for ARS, and we will be doing some suspected leak cleanup actions after TLI. For now, we are continuing to press for TLI.
Okay. Crew's feeling good about where we're at right now. That is all tracking, and we are go to continue.
Houston copies. Thanks, Jeremy.
After looking at the data here on the ground, further confirmation from the teams that they believe the warning the crew received was when they switched over the air recirculation system following the exercise that occurred earlier. The cabin temperature and pressure have been reported as stable, and so the crew remains go for translunar injection burn. They'll take some actions to clear that warning that they received after the translunar injection burn, which is targeted to start just about 14 minutes from now. That burn, 5 minutes and 49 seconds, will be on the Orbital Maneuvering System engine, part of the European Service Module. We are now 1 day and 1 hour into the flight of Artemis II. "13 minutes from the time of ignition, Orion just about 1,300 miles away from the Earth's surface.
Integrity, maneuver to burn attitude starting in 2 minutes.
Integrity copies.
Integrity, saws are configured for the burn.
Copy saws.
The calls you hear in Mission Control Houston coming from Capcom NASA astronaut Chris Birch up to the crew aboard Orion. The solar array wings have been configured into the position for the burn. They are moved forward up toward Orion and away from that orbital maneuvering system engine. This protects the solar arrays during the burn, keeps them safe from any loads that may be imparted from the thruster as it fires. Again, coming up on 11 minutes until the time of ignition, and we are standing by for Orion to maneuver into the burn attitude. Orion now just 1,000 miles above Earth. Just over 10 minutes until time of ignition for the translunar injection burn that will send Orion beyond the moon and commit us to a splashdown in the Pacific Ocean on flight day 10. Approaching 900 miles above Earth's surface, and at time of ignition, Orion will be just 115 miles above Earth, approximately 250,000 miles away from our lunar neighbor. Quiet here in Artemis Mission Control at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, as we approach the translunar injection burn. Less than 9 minutes away from time of ignition of this 5-minute, 49-second burn. Again, the crew received the go for this configuration this morning to proceed with translunar injection from the mission management team here at Johnson Space Center.
Integrity, roughly 1 minute left in our maneuver to burn attitude.
Okay, we show the same.
Orion now 650 miles away from Earth and continuing to be maneuvered to its burn attitude, or its proper positioning for that translunar injection burn. All flight controllers here continuing to monitor their systems, and everyone remaining go for our journey to the moon.
Integrity, Orion is in burn attitude.
Okay, we show the same.
Capcom Chris Birch confirming to the crew that Orion is in the proper attitude, the proper positioning for the translunar injection burn, now less than 6 minutes and 20 seconds away. Orion is less than 500 miles from our Earth. Again, we will watch that tick down to 115 miles above the Earth's surface. Coming up on 1 day and 1 hour and 10 minutes since the launch of the Artemis II mission from Kennedy Space Center in Florida, and we've just marked 5 minutes until the time of ignition for the translunar injection burn, which will send us to the moon. Our crew, Commander Reed Wiseman, Pilot Victor Glover, Mission Specialist Christina Cook, and Mission Specialist Jeremy Hansen, are all aboard the spacecraft, which is properly configured for the burn. This commits us to leaving Earth orbit and moving beyond the moon. It also is our deorbit burn and commits us to coming home, splashing down in the Pacific Ocean on flight day 10. The spacecraft is in the proper attitude, the proper configuration, with its solar array wings swept up toward the spacecraft, allowing the orbital maneuvering system engine, which will conduct the burn, to prevent it from imparting any loads on those solar array wings. This will be a 5-minute and 49-second burn, at which point Orion will be just 115 miles above Earth. It remains quiet here in Artemis Mission Control at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, as teams continue to monitor their systems. Everything's still looking good, and everyone go for translunar injection. Three minutes now until the time of ignition for the translunar injection burn. Orion now 190 miles above Earth's surface, 248,600 miles away from the moon. Continuing to hear good reports from the flight controllers here, Artemis Mission Control in Houston. Orion just 130 miles above planet Earth. As we mark 1 minute until the time of ignition of the translunar injection burn, correction to an earlier report, that will be a 5-minute and 50 second burn on the orbital maneuvering services engine. Mission control is go. The crew is go. You're getting a live view from Orion now of Earth. Ten seconds until translunar injection burn start.
Integrity, good engine, good control.
We show the same. Feels great up here.
At MET, mission elapsed time of 1 day, 1 hour, and 14 minutes into the Artemis II mission. As Orion was flying 115 statute miles above Earth and 247,600 miles away from the moon, we have the start of the translunar injection burn that will send the crew around the moon, the first humans to do so in over 50 years. Again, this will be a 5-minute and 50 second burn on the Orbital Maneuvering Service Engine, part of the European Service Module. Continuing to hear good calls here from Prop in Artemis Mission Control in Houston, Texas.
Integrity looking good.
Integrity copies.
Velocity of the spacecraft ticking up, now over 23,900 miles per hour. Two minutes into this 5-minute and 50 second burn. Continuing to get good calls here in Mission Control Houston from all flight controllers.
Integrity, we copy the enabled caution, no crew action.
Okay, integrity copies.
The crew did receive a caution on their screen and have no action at this time. We continue to burn the translunar injection burn.
Integrity, similar caution, no crew action.
Integrity copies.
Over 3 minutes now into the translunar injection burn. These live views coming from Orion as it looks back on Earth, leaving high Earth orbit and beginning its journey to the moon. We are now 230 miles above Earth, 246,500 miles away from the moon. Again, this burn started on time, MET, mission elapsed time, 1 day, 1 hour, and 14 minutes. We are targeting a 5-minute and 50 second burn. We've just hit the 4-minute mark into the burn. Quiet here in Mission Control Houston as flight controllers continue monitoring all systems. Everything looking good. We have 1 minute left in the translunar injection burn. Everything continuing to look good. Again, these live views coming to you from Orion as it looks back on Earth and begins its journey to the moon. And this, a live look inside Mission Control Houston. Flight Director Jeff Radigan monitoring all of the Orbit 1 teams. NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman has also joined us in the room to monitor the translunar injection burn. We have less than 20 seconds left of this burn. This is the final major burn for the mission because this also serves as our deorbit burn.
Integrity looks like a good burn. We're confirming.
Integrity copies.
Confirmation from teams here on the ground to the Artemis II crew aboard Orion. We have translunar injection burn cutoff and early reports that it was a very good burn. Orion now 520 miles away from Earth. Just 5 minutes ago, we were only 115 miles above Earth's surface. That distance will continue to increase as we are now on a trajectory to fly around the moon for the first time in over 50 years. Live views from the Orion spacecraft as it looks back on Earth following completion of the translunar injection burn, the burn that commits us to flying around the moon. It also commits us to a return to our home planet on flight day 10 and a splashdown in the Pacific Ocean. But for now, these views of Earth as Orion starts its journey. This is Artemis Mission Control. 1 day, 1 hour, and 24 minutes since the liftoff of Artemis II. We have just completed the translunar injection burn. Preliminary reports of a good burn. Again, this commits us to flying by the moon and coming back home on flight day 10. We're approaching 1,000 miles away from Earth. Just 10 minutes ago, we were 115 miles above Earth's surface. Since launch, Orion has been in a high Earth orbit. This allowed the teams to check all systems aboard the spacecraft and gain that confidence that for this first flight of humans aboard Orion, we were go for translunar injection and a flight to the moon. That go that came this morning from the mission management team and later this afternoon from the flight control team in Houston. Crew reported that they were go as well, and now we are going. Teams in Mission Control Houston continuing to provide good reports on all systems aboard Orion.
And Houston Integrity, we just wanted to share a little bit of the sentiment up here as we came around the planet, and we're zooming over just 100 nautical miles above it if you got a moment.
Please, Jeremy, we are all ears.
Well, with that successful TLI, the crew's feeling pretty good up here on our way to the moon, and we just wanted to communicate to everyone around the planet who's worked to make Artemis possible that we firmly felt the power of your perseverance during every second of that burn. Humanity has once again shown what we are capable of, and it's your hopes for the future that carry us now on this journey around the moon.
Thank you for those words.
Poignant words coming down from Canadian Space Agency astronaut and mission specialist on Artemis II, Jeremy Hansen. It's his first time to space, and it's the first flight of a Canadian to the moon. Hugs there at the Capcom console from NASA astronaut and Capcom, or capsule communicator, Chris Birch, with Artemis II backup and Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jenny Gibbons. We're now over 1,000.
Integrity, 2 minutes until a TDRS West to TDRS East handover.
Integrity copies.
Now over 1,500 miles away from our planet, that distance continuing to increase. You can keep track of Orion's distance from the Earth and to the Moon at any time by visiting nasa.gov/track-Artemis. We are currently 242,800 miles away from the Moon and continuing to get closer. We will do so until Flight Day 6, when we make our closest approach during the lunar flyby. This view coming from Artemis Mission Control in Houston, Texas, where the Orbit 1 flight control team is on console. Team members continue monitoring the flight of Orion and the systems aboard the spacecraft. Coming up on 1 day, 1 hour, and 30 minutes since the launch of Orion.
Houston Integrity, our HC stow is complete.
We recently heard a call that the
Integrity, we copied. RHC stow is complete on Tidris East.
Great, comm check. Houston, Integrity, we have lost DU2. It appears it may be power cycling with a DAC message of DU2 comm fail.
Integrity, we copy. We saw that enunciated caution toggle in and out of alarm. Your go to try and power it up.
And Houston, it was in a power cycle after going down, and it has come back up. We are going to go ahead and understand the prop cautions are no action. They are recurring and going away a few seconds later. We'll stand by for any other troubleshooting words on DU2, but so far it looks like it's nominal.
Thanks, Christina. Good news on DU2. No further actions for you on DU2 reconfig. We'll do any other backside stuff on the ground, and we are taking a look at that prop caution as well.
Copy all, and copy also the good comm check on Tidris.
Yes, Christina, good comm check on Tidris East. And to let you know, we are complete with our post-burn reconfig.
Copy all.
A few different communications with the crew there coming from Capcom Chris Birch. We heard the crew report that they were having an issue with their DU. That's the display unit. There are 3 display units inside Orion. It sounds like one of those is rebooting and powering back up. There were also some propulsion cautions that are being cleared. Additionally, we are still on the Tracking and Data Relay Satellite System, or TDRS, and have handed over to TDRS East, confirming that we had a good voice check on TDRS. We won't be on TDRS for long. We will be switching back to the Deep Space Network as we continue to increase our distance from Earth, now 2,780 miles away from our home planet. Over 3,000 miles away from Earth now.
Integrity, we are maneuvering to the Earth viewing attitude.
Copy, and thank you.
Orion is now being maneuvered into an attitude to allow the crew to be able to see the Earth as they depart it. Again, we are rapidly leaving our home planet and growing closer to the moon, now 240,300 miles away from our lunar neighbor. In about 5 minutes, we will transition from the tracking data relay satellite system as our primary method to communicate with the crew over to the Deep Space Network. They'll remain on the Deep Space Network all the way around the moon and until they return to Earth.
Integrity, we have completed the cleanup steps from our leak suspected warning that has cleared the board. We've reset FITR, and so now we'll be able to detect any changes per our nominal config.
That's great news, Houston. Thank you.
Capcom capsule communicator NASA astronaut Chris Birch calling up to the crew aboard Orion, also known as Integrity. There was a leak warning that popped up just before we got into translunar injection burn. However, it was quickly determined that this was due to the air recirculation system being transitioned into a different state. All teams remained go for translunar injection as we continued to get good readings inside the cabin, and that warning has since been cleared.
Integrity, 2 minutes to TDRS East to DSN handover.
See you on the other side.
Standing by for TDRS to Deep Space Network handover. We're now handing over to the Deep Space Network and expect to hear some comm checks once the crew is on the other side.
Integrity, Houston, comm check on OE1 on DSN Madrid.
We have you loud and clear.
Copy, we have you the same.
And we are getting just a beautiful view of the dark side of the Earth right now, lit by the moon. Phenomenal.
That sounds amazing. We hope you're taking some pictures for us.
Yeah, none of us can get to lunch because we're glued to the window. We're taking pictures. Reed said he just can't take it anymore.
That tracks. Thanks, Integrity.
We have good communication checks on the Deep Space Network with the crew aboard Orion. Commander Reed Wiseman, Pilot Victor Glover, Mission Specialist Christina Cook, and Mission Specialist Jeremy Hansen, having recently completed the translunar injection burn, are now on their way to the moon. The Orion spacecraft was oriented so that they would be able to see out the windows as they departed Earth. We are now 4,687 miles away from our home planet, a number that's continuing to grow and will do so until we fly by the moon on Flight Day 6. The crew reports beautiful views of Earth as they fly by the dark side, as referred to by Mission Specialist Jeremy Hansen. They are taking photos that we will expect to see downlinked later on and look forward to sharing.